Donate the next 3 months, 90 days of your life to the future version of yourself. Discard whatever temporary feelings, ideas, thoughts, sentiments that you have about right now. Because the truth is, this version that you are right now must die. He cannot go to the next level of the life which you seek. What people don't understand is that even if you can just get up at a specific time every day to honor yourself and pour into your vision, you're already 80% ahead of most men. People think that success is just this, being great every single day, when in reality, it's more so about consistency, endurance. Victorious is the man that can endure. In the industry that I work in, serving men, we have this habit of, getting in our own heads. I like to call it mental purgatory. And I've been there many times before, actually the majority of my life. I've been a slave to my own mind for more years than I've been, quote unquote, doing well for myself. And what people don't understand is that consistency doesn't mean that you're absolutely killing it every day. Nah, it can literally mean you just make effort. You just make a move. You just swing the axe at the tree. Some days that swing is going to do more damage, right? Other days it may just cause a little chip, but those chips add up. You have to keep on swinging over time. You see, consistency in the midst of it isn't sexy. When you see somebody working on something, for example, somebody that's a beginner, I've been doing martial arts now going on 4 months, right? I'm a beginner, and every day I'm humbled and I come to learn, and I'm tweaking different techniques, right? Elbow, different things. And people are afraid to look like a novice. People are afraid to fail. But what you need to understand is that success is just simply a culmination of failing forward. And even if you have some success right now, even if you have some monetary gain and you're in a position right now where you're in leadership and you're in a position where you're respected, you know deep down that you're not done. There's a longing for you to achieve and become more. You're seeking fulfillment. Fulfillment doesn't solely come from achievement. It comes from maximizing every facet of yourself. Consistency. When I was the version of me that was flat broke as a grown man, sleeping on the couch, when I couldn't speak a word properly and I was stuttering and I was docile and I was a fraction of myself and I was timid, and in many cases I was a coward and I didn't like myself much. I didn't respect myself much. I would look myself in the mirror and I didn't like what I saw. That ate at me alive. When I was that version of myself, and I'm getting chills right now as I'm saying this, all I had to do was just have that twinkle, that desire to be something greater. All I had to do was to have that, but then coupled with what? Swinging that axe. A lot of men, we have this desire to be great, and that desire is in you for a reason, but what you forget is that you have to swing that axe. You make so many excuses. Well, I fucked up today. I didn't close this deal. I didn't do that. I didn't do this. So now I'm going to fall into a fucking 5-day, 2-week, whatever mental abyss. You have to fortify your mind. Consistency. If you can fortify your mind consistently and take consistent actions towards the version of you that you want to be, even if you could do that for the next 90 days, just swinging the axe. I'll give you an example. If you are working in sales right now, if you are working on whatever, just go out and try and get 1% better every day. Take an action that's going to push your vision forward. Just one action. I'll give you an example. Back when I used to struggle with a speech impediment, I would just literally watch great speakers, try to model them, and then go out and put myself in social settings and fumble on my words and just, be all in my head. But every time that I did that and I went out in public, I got positive reinforcement as I got better. So much so to where I stacked those victories up to now, present day, I'm a public speaker by trade and a coach and mentor to dozens and dozens of men all over the world. We just held our modern day Renaissance men mastermind last week, where our gentlemen flew in from all over, and I presented and educated and taught workshops and led the whole week. Before I could lead other men to become better versions of themselves, I had to better myself personally. It's the things that we do in obscurity that will allow us to shine brightly and be a beacon of light for others. And this is what so many of us forget. Even if you're in a position right now where you are a leader, you can still feel imposter syndrome because you know there are certain areas in your life that you are not maxing out and that you are not being consistent. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what you've experienced. These are things that a man has to fortify with inside himself privately so that in public he can be congruent. Doesn't matter what socioeconomic level you are at. The majority of people walking around today are not congruent, and they have to wear masks to overcompensate for their emptiness that they have. And so if you could just be consistent for the next 90 days, and really, I'm being generous. You see, I'm a fucking savage. I would say, really sacrifice the rest of your life to be the best version of you. But oh, that sounds too long. That's not that appealing. So we got to make it bite-sized, right? 90 days, right? We have to make things chewable for the average populace. But if you could just be consistent and sacrifice the current version of you for the next 90 days, you would need a telescope to look back at your life. It is absolutely remarkable what a man can do when he takes control of his mind. I am a living, walking testimony and proof of that. Because as I always say, there's nobody watching this video that was as timid or insecure as I was. I've done and continuously do so much work on my mind because I know who I was. But God damn it, I know who I am now. And I'm fucking proud. And even as proud as I am right now, right? For example, the past 2 weeks, I've gone out the most I've gone in a long time. We've been partying on yachts, women, 5-star restaurants every night, serving my clients that were here during the mastermind, had a fantastic time. Everybody left with a paradigm shifted, edified, business deals getting done. Fantastic. The modern day Renaissance man ecosystem is doing exactly what I intended it to do when I created my company. Fantastic. I've been having a blast. But ooh-wee, fellas. Even I know. I'm proud of the version that I am today. But this version, the man that I am today, will not be able to serve me for the next level that I'm going to. I've accepted that. And so guess what? I got to get back to fucking work. And I've never stopped working. That's the thing. But it's time to go back into dungeon season. I got to shed this exoskeleton and build upon it. And this is the journey of a man who truly understands that to sweat, to work, to grow, to accomplish, right? To fight, this is what life is all about. But so many of you guys, you make excuses to not go all in. Or you've achieved and you think, oh, just because I make $500,000 a year, I'm doing pretty good. I don't need to know. No, you need to maximize every area of your life. This is why some guys who even make great money, they get afraid to get into certain social settings because they know there's real big dogs that's going to push you in every level. I like to be around men who are savages, who have different skill sets and expertise, so the weak parts of me can be exposed and we can grow as a collective. If you could just be consistent and sacrifice the current version of who you are right now for your future self, sacrifice. You know, I'm currently doing the best I've ever done in my entire life. I mean, I have access to so many different things now. And yet, I discipline myself like none other. Don't get me wrong. We have fun. Like I said, spent the last 2 weeks having a great time, indulging in women and indulging in all of life's pleasures. And I do mean all. But we got to get back to work, fellas. We have to get back to work. And if you can sacrifice the temporary for the future version of yourself, this is how you build that impenetrable mind, that confidence, that presence. This is how you condition your central nervous system to be magnetic when you walk in a room, and you don't even have to say 2 words and people feel you. People feel you. I feel like in this modern age, especially, with things being so instantly available to our hands, people try to manufacture things artificially that take years to cultivate. There's all this conversation about presence and aura and things of that nature, and I touch upon this often. These are things that can only be felt when a man has done and continuously does the work. Sacrificing yourself today for the man that you will become tomorrow deserves glory. Few can do it. And that's what makes it so respectable. If you gentlemen can truly make the conscious decision to honor yourself every single day without excuses, without worrying about if you're perfect that day, just moving incrementally, you're gonna be a fucking beast. You have to make a conscious decision for everything that's worth it in life. Same thing in relationships. If you want to repair the relationship that you have with your woman, with your wife, it's a conscious effort to wake up every day and say, we love each other. Let's work on this relationship. You want to have a great relationship? You got to work. You want to have a phenomenal business and services that you offer? You got to work. You want to be a phenomenal man? You got to work. That means sacrifice. That means in order for you to evolve, there has to be challenge. You have to be exposed. There has to be durations of prolonged exertion past your comfort level so that you can adapt. So many of you watch videos online, probably like this one, and get inspired and motivated. Motivation is fleeting. But if you can be consistent, oftentimes being consistent gets you remotivated. And then you have to commit. I'll say it again. Oftentimes, just consistency gets you re-motivated. You see, I'm a man who I enjoy the arts, culture, different perspectives. I've lived all over the world. I speak multiple languages. You guys that follow me know that. And I'll get guys that'll message me and say, Dud, it's so dope how you speak all these languages. Like, I want to do that too. How did you do it? You see me speaking all these languages, but you don't see the monotonous work I do putting in language study every single day. In order for me to have been able to cultivate all the international relationships I have, because I can communicate effectively now via different languages, it has been gruesome, boring, daily work on these skills that I don't want to do every day. I don't want to fucking study Chinese and Arabic and Spanish every day. But I live based off of the man that I know that I can be, that I have in my mind. Sacrifice. I have beautiful women. I've shared perhaps a little bit too much of my life on this channel. I've taken you guys into certain date nights, just trying to be candid with you gentlemen. I have models in my life. I have all types of women throwing themselves at me at all hours throughout the week. Discipline. I can't go out during the week, baby. I got shit to do. I gotta be in bed by 10. I gotta be up in the morning. I gotta fucking get it. Don't give a fuck about pussy. Where we're going, that's gonna be readily available. You gotta sacrifice. You have to sacrifice who you are for where you want to be. That's the only way. And I can say these words to you, but until you truly commit to yourself and until you truly get around men who are serious dogs, you'll never get the work ethic, right? So last week during my mastermind, I introduced my clients to my inner personal social network, and they got to see how my inner circle really works, how killers really operate. I'm talking about guys gave presentations at workshops and had client onboarding calls 15 minutes later, had to go catch a flight later, guys closing $25 billion deals. Like, they got to see how real big dogs move. And so until you get around people with that type of mentality, you'll never understand what true work is. You think you're working hard. I promise you, you're not maxing the fuck out. And if you can stop being haughty and arrogant, you'd be able to admit it. I can admit, I go fucking hard. But when I get around my friends and I see what they're doing, I gotta go harder. Sacrifice the current version of yourself so that you can get to the next level. If you need to be around killers, if you need help upgrading your identity and refining your life, tap the first link in the bio to my one-on-one mentorship and coaching modern day Renaissance men. I want to be very direct and clear. This is not for everybody. This is for men who are high performers who want to upgrade their identity and get better in all facets. If that is you, okay, fantastic. If you are not that man and you're struggling financially, I do not work with men who are struggling financially. I'm sorry. We have different options, okay? I have an ebook, whatever. But if you want one-on-one coaching from me and to be around my private network of elite men, understand you're going to spend a pretty penny. And I'm being very honest. The relationships that you make in this brotherhood go far beyond virtual Zoom calls. They're for life. The gentlemen in our inner circle span across all continents. We're here to challenge you, call you out on your bullshit, but also support you and celebrate with you. Nothing is off limits here. We talk about things that most men will never voice out loud, and that's where real transformation happens. This is Modern Day Renaissance Men. Not just a program, not just virtual Zoom calls, but a private brotherhood for men who already have wins underneath their belt, but want to step into deeper self-mastery. It's a place where accomplished men go who want to grow in every dimension and facet of life while being surrounded by men who are going to hold you to a higher standard. Not every man gets an invitation, but those who do, transform forever. If you're truly ready to sharpen every edge, become a complete version of yourself, and step into a brotherhood that'll challenge you at the highest level and to ultimately leave a legacy that most men only talk about, this is your personal invitation. Book a call below, apply, and let's see if you're a good fit.
I commit to mastering every facet of myself, living in the full spectrum of emotions, and serving from my authenticity. I am a warrior. I am everything that I say that I am. I am free.
Peace to the Renaissance, man.